Yo guys, what's going on? Welcome back to day 5 out of 100 of this 100-day sprint that I'm documenting on my YouTube channel. Inside this video, rather than diving too deep into my day-to-day actions, today we're going to be diving into a concept that I'd like to share that I've actually learned during my journey. And this is one of the concepts that I've learned from my mindset coaches. If you know Vash and if you know John Gab, then you already know about these concepts. However, I decided I'd like to share it with you guys through this YouTube video very quickly. And yeah, before we dive into that, you will see that I did wake up at 4:44 in the morning. I got straight into a meditation, and then I actually just had sales calls throughout the day. So honestly, there wasn't really too much to actually document from yesterday. So like I said, let's dive into this concept. So let me go ahead and make this smaller. And what we're going to be talking about, okay, is consistency over intensity, and the fact that 100 days is all you really need to make a change. Okay, now I want you to remember, right? Can you remember when you was younger, hearing the story called The Tortoise and the Hare when you were a kid? If you remember that story, yeah, you'll realize that you basically have a choice. Okay, you have the choice to either sprint ahead with bursts of speed, only to lose momentum, crash, and fall short of your goals, or you can move with consistency, steadily and persistently advancing towards your goals, and ultimately accomplish everything in your vision through unwavering progress. And what you'll realize, okay, is our brains are actually wired to expect progress to be linear. Like, we assume that if we put in an extra hour of studying or, extra practice today, then we'll see immediate or proportional results. Okay, and once again, these concepts I've taken from Mind Systems, John Gab, Vash. These guys are real G's that taught me this all the way back in the day when I was just getting started. And we basically think that if we go to the gym for 4 weeks, we should be losing 0.5 kg a week. Or we think that if we start a business, then within 30 days we should be at 3k per month, within 90 days we should be at 9k per month, and so on and so forth, right? We think it's all linear, okay? And this is actually far from how growth actually unfolds. What you'll realize is there's this concept called the hockey stick effect, okay? And this is actually how real growth really happens on an exponential curve, okay? And this kind of brings me back to why I'm doing this 100-day sprint, because you'll realize that your habits actually compound over time, okay? Meaning that you may not see results within the first 30 days, right? But in day 30, your progress is likely minimal. Okay, if you're losing weight, if you're focused on making money, your progress is probably going to be minimal, right? Maybe by day 30, you've not really done anything. Maybe you've put on weight. By day 60, okay, you'll realize like some improvement will be visible, but it's far below your expectations. Maybe you've aimed for £6,000 a month, but you're barely at £1,000. Okay, maybe you're aiming for like 10 grand a month, but you're still at zero. And then all of a sudden, okay, from repeatedly taking the actions and the thoughts and the feelings in alignment with your higher self, okay, on your vision, you'll realize that at some point, and this is typically around like a 90 to 100-day period, you'll see that there'll be a big spike. Okay, and this is where the hockey stick effect actually kicks in. And sometimes sooner, sometimes later, but eventually you'll experience a huge, sharp rise, and suddenly you will have hit your goals. Okay, so train your brain to recognize that progress compounds over time, and you'll become far more patient in pursuing your goals. Okay, and this quote here, consistency over intensity, I said this in my first video, right? Many people will lose patience by day 30 or day 60. They haven't seen the results, they end up quitting, they go back to their old selves, and then they're back in that loop. And chances are you're probably in this loop right now whilst watching this, okay? Especially if you're not taking yourself serious, especially if you're not holding yourself accountable. You're more than likely in this loop, and you're more than likely wondering why you're seeing the same results over and over and over again. It's because you're just taking the same actions from your older self, from your, from the version of you that's not really aligned with your vision. And that's why you're seeing the same results. That's why you're back in the loop. I want to show you in this video as well, yeah, like a few different examples of how the hockey stick effect is actually real, and like some live examples as well. So you'll see here, yeah, for example, Tesla. These guys have been around since God knows when, like 2003, you can see it there. And you can see like only until like 2019, they've seen like some actual like big growth in their company. And you can see that's the hockey stick effect happening right there. Elon, the guys at Tesla, they were just consistently doing the same things that are, going to progress them forwards. And therefore, after a period of consistency, they've gone ahead and seen a massive spike in the results that they're getting. Likewise with like Nvidia, for example, or sorry, Amazon, you'll see here like Jeff Bezos all the way back in the day, there were guys like questioning like, yo, how are you gonna pull this off? Like, how are you gonna make this work? There were so many doubters and like so many people that didn't really believe in him, but he just chose to operate from that heightened frequency, okay? And let me go back and pause that. He chose to operate from that heightened frequency, didn't let anyone in his external world affect that frequency and take that power from him, and therefore, through the consistent repeated actions and progress towards actually hitting his goals, he was then able to see that massive spike once again in his company and his growth and his net worth, okay? And I'll show you as well, I believe Nvidia, this is another great example. These guys have been around since what, 1993? Once again, okay, they've gone so many years, and only recently, like 2024, they've seen a huge spike in their company and their growth. That's the power of the hockey stick effect, okay? Now, I'm not saying you have to wait 30 years in order to see results for yourself in your reality, but what I'm saying is, I believe 100 days is enough time to see some drastic change in your life. And even if you don't want to go on a 100-day sprint, you could go on a 30-day sprint, you could go on a 21-day sprint, because these changes happen on a macro level and they also happen on a micro level. I guarantee you that if you zoomed in on each one of these charts, you'll see mini hockey stick effects in each different area, okay? And you can apply this to your life. If you just consistently do the same thing in alignment with your vision over time, you're going to see results, and things are going to compound over time, and things are just going to get easier and easier as you build up the habit of being your higher self. Okay, so that's a slightly different concept that I wanted to get into in this video. I do think moving forwards in my YouTube videos, I'm going to be sharing more kind of value-based content, more kind of content of things that I've learned on my journey rather than just my day-to-day, because my day-to-day, as I said, it can get pretty repetitive. It's pretty much the same actions on a daily basis, and you know, whilst it's great to be, you know, showcasing my consistency, I also do want to give you guys some value, give you guys some lessons of what I've learned along my journey as well. So hopefully this thing resonates with you. Once again, check out my mindset coaches, John Gab. That guy's a G. If you want to connect with me personally, I'll leave my Instagram below as well, and we can have a chat about any of the concepts I talk about as well. So appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you in the next one.